Hey, good morning. Getting a good start this morning. It was a great tent spot last night. No condensation. Just double checking, make sure everything. Yeah, didn't, no bear attacks. So, it got cold though. A lot colder. I figure out my way out of here now. A lot colder than it has been lately, for sure. So, yeah, I was chilly, had to bundle up a little bit, but I had plenty. In fact, I deliberately didn't use my rain gear and didn't use my hat, just to make sure, just to test, see how it would be, because I really want to send that hat home and maybe even my rain pants and stuff. So just making sure that worst case scenario, I didn't really need that stuff. Anyway, it looked really stormy last night when I went to bed, but just a couple little sprinkles through the night, barely, so I'm kind of glad, because it's nice not to have to deal with all the rain, everything wet and muddy, but at the same time, I did smell some smoke off and on last night, and I really, if it would have just poured all around in this area, probably would have been good for getting rid of those fires a little bit. So anyway, today is supposed to be a pretty moderate day. Yesterday wasn't really bad, the trail's nice, but there was a decent amount of climbing, and today there should be a lot less. In fact, I think I did almost 13 miles yesterday, and if I were to do 30 miles today, I think it's supposed to be about the same amount of climbing as I did yesterday, so that should make it a pretty easy day. But I've also read some of the comments where there might be a bunch of blowdowns up here, 10, 15 miles ahead, so that really could still be down too. So anyway, we'll see what happens, but should be a moderate day. I hope get a lot of miles in, get closer to Sisters, which is the little town that I'll get off and resupply next in a couple of days. Well, it's been a beautiful morning so far. It's Charlton Lake out there. But for the next 4 or 5 miles, I'm gonna have to walk through this burn zone. So, not quite as pretty, more fun, but trail should be easy, so I can just get through here quickly. I hope. Wow, so much smoke off to the southwest, huh? Goodness. Of course, that's where the fires are. You'd expect it, but really reddish today. And today was supposed to be cloudy. I have about 64 and there's not a cloud in the sky. Sun's out bright, and it might be, I haven't looked yet, but I'd be darn surprised if it's 64 and it's only like 8 o'clock in the morning and it's warming up, so daggone it. Well, the good news is in only a few years the entire PCT will be burned up and people will be able to hike it every year without worrying about fires. I can't wait. Okay, well, I've just entered a new zone that has at least some living stuff. And the dead stuff is still standing largely, so at least it's not quite as exposed in here. There's a little shade. We'll see if it gets better anytime soon. Turns into a beautiful, lush, living forest, I hope. I think Melanie knows this mountain from her past travels. Three Sisters Mountain. And this is the wilderness, heading towards Three Sisters. I don't believe that we ever get under the Three Sisters Mountains, but I think we'll see them at some point. This is what every water source looks like for the next couple of days at least. I didn't see any streams on the map at all, or springs or anything, but the trail just weaves around and goes past lake after lake after lake after lake. Sometimes that's not great because the water's really crappy and it clogs up your filter and it's warm, but so far that's not been the case yesterday and today, so fingers crossed. Keep having some nice clear water. It's cold. Well, it's 10 o'clock and I have done 12 miles so far. So as I was thinking, the trail's been really moderate today, so it's allowed me to just move quickly and comfortably. So that's nice. I suspect it will stay the same. I hope it does. The only thing is, I know I have that section that's going to have a bunch of blowdowns, a bunch of trees that have fallen over that you have to cross, and so that'll slow me down. But you know, hopefully I can get ahead of things a little bit today and not be too awfully worn out by the end of the day. Gotta stop every once in a while and just stand and stare at that kind of stuff. Beautiful. Well, the bad news is it's about 10 degrees warmer today than it was supposed to be. But the good news is it's about 10 to 15 degrees cooler than it was those couple of days walking into Crater Lake. So I guess I won't complain too much. Well, I've gotten through the blowdown area. Information I had anyway said that once you get to this lake, then everything gets better. So it wasn't so bad. There were a lot of them, but it didn't really slow me down much. They were pretty low, pretty easy to step over. Well, it's really heated up this afternoon. It's about the temperatures that it was hiking into Crater Lake, unfortunately. But, you know, been mostly in the trees. So, as you can probably see on the trail behind me, there's a lot of shade and a little sun too. Gotta keep the hat on. And it's been a little breeze off and on, so it's kept it bearable. And I've slowed down so I don't overheat. So anyway, the trail stayed really nice so far, so allowing me to keep trucking. Well, I've walked into another burn area. I wonder how big this one is. Hopefully it's like a couple 100 feet and I'll walk out of it. Not 4 miles like the last one. Here's a nice little stream. I'm gonna stop, get some water, my last water for the night, and eat my dinner, I think, right here at this little tent site And then I'm going to walk on just a little bit further to find where I'm going to sleep tonight. And I'll tell you why. I'm going to go a little further in a minute after I finish eating. Alright, it's a pretty good day. I'm super tired. The reason that I couldn't stay at that last tent site where I got the water is because that was 29.5 miles for the day. And I couldn't have that, so I had to go 0.5 miles and set up out in the middle of the woods here, just a little past 30 miles. So anyway, I did my one and only 30-mile day, and I don't think I'm going to be trying to do that anymore. But it was just everything was kind of set up for it today, you know. The trail was real nice and smooth and easy, and you know, I felt good. And so, but yeah, I'm not going to be doing that all the time because it kills me. And you know, I'll probably do 15 miles today to make up for it, you know, when I'm so tired tomorrow. So anyway, all right, I'm going to do a few things and hit the sack early. Good night. All right, that's where I stayed last night. Up and going early this morning. Nice and cool, mosquitoes buzzing everywhere. Got a nice long climb this morning, a little bit steep. So glad to be getting up early and doing it while it's cool out. It's supposed to be sunny and hot again today, so I like to get as much of this done as possible before it gets too hot. Won't have to do as big a miles today for sure, since I did so many yesterday, and the trail should be fairly moderate today. Not too bad, so I'm looking forward to it. Looks like we have a few clouds in the sky, more than yesterday. And coming out into a clearing here. I'll keep the video rolling until we get out here. Looks like there's a little bit of fog along the top of the grass. Wow, that's cool, huh? I might just keep this on and just be quiet as we walk through all this. It is chilly out here in the open. Wow. Well, that Elk Lake sign back there, that is another one of those kind of little lake resorts I think I mentioned yesterday that I'm sure a bunch of people went into last night. I saw a bunch of people passing me after I set up my tent, but I did not want the diversion. As I'm looking at the trail, I see horseshoes on top of all the other prints. Don't seem to be the freshest, so maybe someone got out here before me today, or maybe late last night. But I'm thinking I might run across a horse and a rider here in a little bit. We'll see. Well, I'm almost finished with this 1,150 foot climb coming out of Elk Lake, and I sure am glad I'm doing this when it's 60 degrees out and not 80. These last couple of days spoiled me. The relatively easy hiking. This is still relatively easy, but a lot of sustained climbing. And I don't imagine a 30-mile day yesterday helped any. My legs are worn out. Only gone a few miles. This is Sisters Mirror Lake. Boy, it does look like a mirror. So this is for all my sisters. Well, I was a little bit excited because I passed a guy this morning named Mickey. He said hey, and he asked me where I was going today, and I said as far as I can. Anyway, I asked him what his plans were. He said he's going to Big Lake Youth Camp. I said, what in the world is that? So he just told me it's a youth camp up here. It's literally right on the trail. And you can, he said he's going to resupply there. There's resupply. So I'm like, well, great. That means I don't have to get off trail and go to Sisters tomorrow. The town of Sisters. And so just a minute ago while I was walking, I took a look on the app I have, and it looks like it's kind of set up. They've got an area for PCT hikers. They maybe even have meals they do occasionally. They have camping. You can take showers for free there. They have donations, so, you know, I mean, obviously you should pay, but laundry, all sorts of stuff like that. And they accept, I'm tired, I just went up a hill. They accept resupply boxes if you ship one there. But everywhere I looked through all the comments people would put, everything doesn't appear that they actually have resupply. So I can't go in there. They don't have a store. I can't go in there and purchase, you know, tortillas and tuna and peanut butter and whatever. So kind of a bummer. I guess I'm just going to skip it and go into Sisters and resupply. And, you know, it'll waste a little time because it'll take me, you know, a half hour to get a hitch in, half hour to get a hitch out, and a couple of different stores in town to run between. And you know I'm going to pass some restaurant there and stop and get lunch. So anyway, I'll try to make it as quick as I can. Wow, I'm going to turn this camera around and show you this view. Just walked around the corner and saw that. I don't know what mountain that is. I could pretty easily find out if I look on my app, but I'm tired right now. Maybe I'll look in a little bit. But my gosh, that's impressive. A lot of snow left on there. Another one behind it. Wow. Beautiful. I wonder how close we're getting to those. Oh, you know what? I know what that is. Those are a couple of the Three Sisters mountains. Guarantee you. I'm almost certain this one close to me is the South Sister. And then that one over there is either the Middle Sister or the North Sister. There's three of them anyway. Very cool. I forgot I was coming up on those today. Well, that's where I came from back there. That's where I'm going. There's what's left of the South Sister Mountain that I could see in full view before. Haven't come across anything like this in Oregon yet, you know, a big valley with a, you know, kind of a meadow or field or whatever you want to call it. Actually really cool. Nice to be able to, a little break from being in the trees the whole time, but I sure am glad I'm doing this at 9 o'clock in the morning. It's already, I think it's a little over 70, or about 70, 71. But, man, this is going to be a lot worse at, you know, 1 or 2 o'clock. So I'm glad to be coming through now. Probably get back in the trees up here. So perfect timing. I was hoping to catch him in the background, but I don't think I did. Just passed 3 trail volunteers, maintenance workers. One of them's carrying like a huge, like almost, or I don't know, what do you call it anyway, to like chop things up, but not an axe, like a big straight pole. One of them's carrying a huge, long saw, hand saw, 2-person hand saw. One of them was carrying an axe. And they've been out here working all morning, clearing everything, cleaning everything, doing what they call decommissioning reroutes. That's where, you know, there's a tree down the middle of the trail. People have been stepping over it, but sometimes you can't. So people have made these little trails around it, right? You've seen me walk past those, like the other day when I did that video with all the blowdowns. And so they go and, you know, kind of put logs over top of those and over the reroutes that people have made, and sort of get them back to their normal state, you know, so there's not like two trails there. Anyway, I hope that made sense. So they said to me, yeah, you should be good to go. The trail should be totally clear for the next 4 miles. I said, you know, thanks, you guys are awesome. This trail would not be what it is without you, without people like them. So thank you guys. Wow, look at these flowers. Whew, nice to be back in the trees again where it's cool. Almost got a chill there for a second. Which I'm very happy about. I will gladly be chilly. Ah, the rare stream. I was lucky enough to be able to get water at one yesterday, and I'm going to have held out until now, so I'm going to fill up here so I don't have to get out of the ponds. Awesome. So this is the water bag that has been leaking. If I were to squeeze it a whole bunch, you'd see some little needle streams shoot out from right here at the bottom of the bag, just across. But anyway, it's doing okay. But last night, this little top thing, there's usually a little connector piece that goes right across there. Just a little piece that goes right across the top. And that way I can hang it, you know, like hang it onto the tip of my trekking pole if I have my trekking pole upside down, and it'll just sit here and kind of gravity feed and everything. But that broke off, so I can't do that. And also, normally I would kind of roll this down, roll the bag down, and to squeeze it to get water in. Makes it easy to get the water to go faster. But now I can't do that because these are going to puncture the bag if I do that. So I just have to kind of squeeze it, you know. So anyway, it's a mess. But luckily I've only got whatever it is, 5 days, 6 days, something, when I get into government camp, Oregon, where I've got a new one waiting for me that I ordered yesterday. So anyway, I'll get by. This is a really exciting video, isn't it? Just looking at the bottom of the bag while I talk. Oh boy, another burn area from the past. A ways back in the burned area, I ran across a guy named Sean. Stopped and talked to him for a little bit. He's a friend of a thru hiker out here. So Sean and his friend Dharma came out here to hike with All the Notes, who is the thru hiker. And so I'm here for a few days. So I don't know if they're all from around here, but Sean told me he's from the Portland area. So I slowed down, walked and talked with him for a few minutes. Very nice guy. And then just a couple miles back, I came across a family. Looked like a guy who might be in his, 30s. Mom and dad probably with him. And they were all hiking and just having a good time. Trying to figure out which of those mountains over there were the sisters, or if they were something else. And we talked about that a little bit. Everybody's very friendly, so nice to chat up people on the trail once in a while. But of course it slows you down too. So gotta keep moving. Well, up ahead here, just in a couple tenths of a mile, is a place called Obsidian Falls. In fact, this little area we're in is called the Obsidian Wilderness. And for whatever reason, they're very tight in here about things. You can't tent in here. They're quite often apparently rangers in here checking permits and things like that. So anyway, but there's this place called Obsidian Falls, and here's my turnoff. Well, I hear something. What I assume is the falls. There's something going on down there. Nice. Obsidian. Now those are the real Obsidian Falls. I did not want to go all the way down there. All this obsidian everywhere. Just strewn around like gravel. Been a while since I was right next to snow. One of the cool things about being around these tall mountains again is the snow and the snow melt. So there have been streams, not a lot, but a lot more than there had been for a while, so I love it. More obsidian. Look at that over there, wow. Like a mountain of it. This is still in the Obsidian wilderness. It looks like a city park. I'm coming out of the Obsidian wilderness. There's a little creek. There was a guy sitting there and had an Australian accent. I asked him what his name was. After I said, wasn't that incredible, that place we just walked through? Anyway, he said, Wizard. It took me about 4 different times to figure out what he was actually saying, which is Wizza. W-I-Z-Z-A. I said, what is that? And his answer was, I pee a lot. I said, okay. I said, well, that should be my name too. Wait till you're my age. And he said, oh no, I hope it doesn't get worse. Anyway, the stuff that comes up on the trail. Just met the guy too. I think maybe he should choose a different name. I have these white pop-up caps in my water bottles, like that, you can see. Last night, I can't remember if I told you this already or not, but last night when I was doing water before I got to camp, I don't know, I did something. Didn't tighten on one of my bottles, or I don't know what I did, but when I got to camp, my one bottle had no cap. And so that stinks. So I did figure out I can put my filter, take my water filter and screw the good end on to the water bottle, and it'll actually keep water in there. So I don't know if I have to do that, I can, and I did that today. But then I was having lunch. These people came by that I'd seen on the trail already. And they asked if they could sit down. So I said sure. And I think I told you about him. It's the young guy and then his parents. And anyway, I said something about, do you like the cap of my water bottle? And explained to him what I'd done. And he said, well, you know, I probably have an extra cap for my Sawyer water filter that you could just have and use. I said, well, you know, aren't you going to need that? And about that time, some people that were walking by said, what do you need? And I told him. He go, oh, I got a couple extra ones of those. I said, well, fantastic, thank you. So just some generic, you know, cap right there off some other kind of water bottle. Fits it perfectly. Funny thing is, I had a green cap, looks just like that black one right there, that I've carried from the minute we got on the trail, and an extra white flip cap that I carried for about the past, I don't know, three or 4 weeks. And just last week I got rid of them because I'm like, well, I got to be going lighter and I'm never going to use these things. So of course I tossed them, and then I immediately need them. Luckily, someone else was smarter than me and generous enough to share, so problem solved. Until I lose the next thing. These are some of the mountains that I videoed and took pictures of when I was in the Obsidian wilderness. And now I am much closer to them. And got this, just like valleys of lava. Obviously, including all that. Serious history happened here. Probably came out of those. I have to say, this past half mile has not been fun. You ever tried to walk in a pile of gravel? You put your foot in, you step, you slide at least a half step backwards with every step. Oh. Oh well, can't go on forever. I don't know if I'm right, but I just realized that I think I've been hiking through a caldera. And I don't think this stuff just flowed from somewhere else. I think it blew up right here. Man. Crazy. Well, now I've realized that I'm hiking all the way up and out of this thing somehow or another. Imagine you get a call from the PCT and they say, hey, would you like to be a part of the Pacific Crest Trail? You're like, right on. Then you bring you here and give you a shovel and they go, yeah, make a trail from down there all the way up there. Huh. You're like, I just remembered I have something more fun to do, like go get 5 root canals. Sheesh. Well, I got up over the edge expecting to find maybe a green forest. That was wishful thinking. I have been transported, I believe, to the Martian surface. Apparently they have a Pacific Crest Trail also on Mars. Well, at least I'm going downhill on gravel now, so I'm sliding the right direction. Well, I obviously made a lot of fun of this, but I have to say, this is really so cool. I mean, when are you ever going to just walk right through volcanic destruction, you know? It's amazing. Imagine this when this happened. I mean, there was nothing even remotely close to here that was alive in the moment that all this happened. It's crazy. And then, you know, all these thousands or tens of thousands or more years later, you know, here I am in the middle of it. I'm glad time's linear. Beautiful green forest, here I come. Well, even though this looks very different over here, much better and more inviting, we've got the same rocks on the ground. Same stuff buried underneath this grass and these needles, pine needles and different things. So, yeah, this devastation extended way beyond just that craziness back there. This is the spring that I'm filling up from, where I go find my tent site and be done for the night. And there it is, bubbling up from below. Pretty cool. So hey, I found I made a nice little spot here. Yeah, kind of in lava zone, but ground's nice. And anyway, just getting ready to have dinner, and then I don't know, just lay down. It's only like 5 something, but I have overdone it last couple of days, and so yeah, I'm really tired. My legs are killing me. They're just weak and worn out. So anyway, I'm gonna lay around a bunch. And then tomorrow I only have about 5.5 miles, a little less, barely less, to get to the highway and then hitch a ride into Sisters so that I can resupply. So, you know, I can't really decide how early to try to get it going, but I'll probably get up really early because I'll wake up anyway. And I'll just go and give it my best shot. But it'd be really nice if I could get in there and maybe eat breakfast and resupply and get back out, you know, by maybe even like be back on the trail by 11, you know. That still let me just take it super easy and still get a bunch of miles in tomorrow. So we'll see what happens. Have anything else to say tonight? I'll jump on here. Otherwise, probably this is signing off for the evening. Good night.